During the latest WEC event in 2024, Hertz Team JOTA achieved their best result as a team within motorsport. The British squad beat their opponents by taking their number 12 Porsche 963 to a surprising result. So in this video, I'll break down the details on how Hertz Team JOTA won the 6 hours of Spa Francorchamps, subsequently making history in the championship. In Belgium, victory was obtained with just 2 drivers piloting that Porsche 963. The racers included former F1 driver Will Stevens and 3-time F2 race winner Callum Ilott. Usually these 2 drivers are joined by French racer Norman Naudot during the full season of the WEC. However, he was participating in the Formula E racing event during this weekend, known as the Berlin E-Prix, so he couldn't join the British duo. This win from the JOTA-run Porsche was definitely a fan favorite, and I'll talk more about the win and the achievements it brought later on in the video. But first, let me tell you how exactly Hertz Team JOTA got this win at one of the trickiest circuits in the entire world. The number 12 Hertz Team JOTA Porsche entered this event to compete alongside 18 other hypercars in the race. One of those entries included the sister Porsche 963, the number 38 car, which also raced here last year in 2023, as this team made its debut in the hypercar category. In qualifying, Callum Ilott would put the number 12 Porsche in 5th position, just behind the number 99 Proton Competition Porsche, but eventually the 12 car would be promoted to 4th position after the disqualification of the number 50 Ferrari from pole. In the race, the Porsche 963s were clearly very quick, and they were arguably the best performing cars out on track, at least in the hypercar category. However, while the Porsches were performing very well in hypercar, this number 12 Porsche wasn't in a position to fight for the overall win, at least in the first few hours of this race. During the majority of this race, the cars that were leading the most laps included the number 5 Porsche Penske and the number 99 customer Porsche from Proton Competition. On Hertz Team JOTA's side, the number 12 Porsche was consistent on reliability and pace. However, at least for now, it wasn't in a position to take the lead of the overall event. On the other side of the garage for the British team, the 38 Porsche was not having an easy race, and about 2 hours into the event, things got worse for the 38 car. Unfortunately, the number 20 BMW hypercar hit the 38 Porsche, sending that entry into the LMGT3 BMW, and those 2 entries went off track, thus receiving damage. Unfortunately, the 46 BMW and 38 Porsche were now out of the race. The retirement of the number 38 Porsche meant that Hertz Team JOTA's hopes of achieving a good result at the 6 hours of Spa rested in the number 12 Porsche's hands, and boy did it achieve a good result. But as I briefly mentioned before, the number 12 Porsche wasn't in a position to fight for the lead at first. By the first hour, the number 12 Porsche was sitting in 7th position. With hour 2 complete, the number 12 car was in 8th position. At the 3-hour mark, the car was still in 8th position, and around the 4-hour mark, the car had moved up to 6th in a battle for 5th position with the number 6 Porsche. So for the first 4 hours or so, this JOTA hypercar was hanging around in the area of 7th position. So that begs the question, how exactly did the number 12 Porsche go from fighting in the lower part of the top 10 to the very top of the leaderboard in hypercar? Well, I would argue that luck was a major factor in how Hertz Team JOTA took victory here at Spa Francorchamps. The outcome of this race was transformed because of the major crash for the number 2 Cadillac on the Camel Straight. By the way, speaking of that crash, driver Earl Bamber is A-OK from the incident, and I will go further in detail about the crash in my race review coming out later on. Because of this major incident, the red flag was called out on track. The last time it was brought out in the WEC was in 2022 at this very same track, when there was a lot of rain out on track causing some major crashes and spins. But interestingly, what we should be fixated on is not the red flag itself, but what happened just before the race was neutralized. You see, just before this incident happened, Hertz Team JOTA called in the number 12 Porsche for a mandatory pit stop. What this lucky pit sequence meant was that because of the red flag, the other cars that didn't pit wouldn't be able to serve their mandatory pit stops and crucially get fuel, meaning that when the race resumed, those entries would need to come into the pit lane to refuel, where the number 12 Porsche could stay out with a full tanker of fuel. And to be clear, the number 12 Hertz Team JOTA Porsche was not the only entry in Hypercar to benefit from this red flag, because the number 6 Porsche and the number 36 Alpine also pit before the race was temporarily neutralized. As predicted, once the race resumed, the majority of Hypercar entries came into the pit lane for their mandatory pit stops, and the number 12 Hertz Team JOTA Porsche soared to the top of the leaderboard in Hypercar, followed by the number 6 Porsche. The two Porsches benefited so well that when the other Hypercars exited the pit lane, the gap between those cars and the two Porsches was around an entire minute. With just over an hour remaining, Hertz Team JOTA's only opposition to secure the race win came from the number 6 Porsche Penske. Behind the number 6 Porsche was Kevin Estre, and he was looking to secure Porsche Penske Motorsport's second win of the season in 2024. However, it wasn't meant to be. Instead, British driver Callum Ilott extended the gap in the number 12 Porsche to Kevin Estre in the 6 car, and by the end of the race, the gap was around 14 seconds. Ultimately, nothing would stop Hertz Team JOTA and Callum Ilott from crossing the line in first. The number 12 Porsche would secure the victory at the 6 Hours of Spa in 2024. This win in Belgium would secure a few achievements, one of them being Hertz Team JOTA's first ever overall victory in the World Endurance Championship. They had claimed victory in the WEC before in the LMP2 class, their most recent at the 6 Hours of Monza with the number 28 entry. But never had this iconic team taken the first place trophy for overall victory in the WEC, and now they had that trophy. This achievement also meant that for the first time ever, a customer team that ran a Porsche 963 had won a race across any source of sports car endurance racing competition. Before this race took place, customer 963s got close to achieving victory, but were never able to win. Think back to IMSA's Petit Le Mans race in 2023, when the number 59 Proton competition Porsche achieved third. Nowadays, that entry is the black and gold Mustang sampling number 5 car. Another example of this was most recently at the Qatar 1812 km, where this very number 12 Hertz Team JOTA Porsche achieved second place, finishing just behind the number 6 Porsche which won. Also, JOTA's win at Spa was the first time in a very long time that a privateer team took overall victory in the championship. The last time this happened was in 2020, when Rebellion Racing took victory at Lone Star Le Mans at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. The fact is that this win by the number 12 Porsche 963 allowed Hertz Team JOTA to finally be victorious overall. This is a team that we knew beforehand had the ability to be successful in the championship, and now they are finally a part of the Winners Club in the WEC. And hopefully this win is the first of many for the British team. What did you think about Hertz Team JOTA taking the victory at the 6 Hours of Spa? And will this truly be the first of many for this iconic team? Well, as always, let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, I suggest subscribing. The reason why is because I make endurance racing content mainly on WEC and IMSA every week. And if you want to watch more videos, there's options on your screen. But for now, that's it from me. I'll see you in the next one.